All right, guys, the NFL schedule is out. It is now official. We knew a lot of the leaks that were coming out earlier this afternoon, and for a lot of us, we knew what the schedule was going to look like for many teams. The Jets schedule and Giants schedule were already out around 1 o'clock this afternoon, but now it is official, so we're going to talk about some of those games, look at the Giants schedule, look at the Jets schedule, kind of see where some of the pitfalls may be for both of those teams this year, and we'll then take a quick look at some of the primetime games coming up around the league. So let's take a look. Okay, first I'm going to start with the Giants schedule. Now I'm going to post the schedule right here so you can take a look at it. There it is. Now, the season's going to begin once again, lo and behold, with the Giants beginning the year at Dallas against the Cowboys. This is now the sixth time in the last 8 seasons that the Giants have opened the season with the Dallas Cowboys. In fact, it is now the 5th time in the last 6 years they have opened the season at Dallas. Talk about a lack of creativity by the National Football League when it comes to the Giants schedule. For some reason, and look, I understand Giants, Cowboys equal big TV ratings. That's all they're thinking about in this regard. But the last few years, when these two teams have met early in the season, the game has been absolutely dull. And also consider the fact the Giants just aren't very good right now. So it's hard to sit here and say that this is a very attractive game for a lot of people across the country, but it is the Giants, it is the Cowboys, and again, it is in Week 1 yet again. So for you Giant fans who are hoping to see somebody else like Washington or maybe even New England, some people were wondering maybe the Giants would go to Foxborough to start the season. Not going to happen. It's another trip to Big D and the Dallas Cowboys. Week 2, the Buffalo Bills come to town. Now, there is some intrigue here because the Bills will be playing 2 straight games in the Meadowlands. They will begin the season, Bills, against the Jets when it's the Jets' home game in Week 1, and then they stick around and play the Giants in Week 2 at the Meadowlands. So back-to-back games for the Bills at the Meadowlands as they'll play the Giants in Week 2. Week 3 at Tampa Bay. Who knows what Tampa Bay is going to be this year? Bruce Arians now the head coach down there, so things are certainly going to change. Washington, another wild card, a very strange team that we really don't know what they're going to look like between now and the start of the season in Week 4. Week 5, Minnesota. And then Week 6 is a Thursday night game at New England, 8:20. Now, one thing that we've all noticed in this schedule is that the Giants have no Sunday night games. They only have 3 primetime games. 2 of them on Monday night. We'll get to those 2 in just a moment. And then this Thursday night game against the Patriots. Most likely, you would think, the last time we see Eli Manning up against Tom Brady. We all know about the 2 Super Bowls. Those two guys have matched up against one another over the years. Giants, of course, beating the Patriots twice in the Super Bowl. So a bit of a reunion, if you will, between Eli Manning and Tom Brady in Week 6. Week 7, the Arizona Cardinals come to town to take on the Giants. Week 8 at Detroit. Don't fall asleep on the Lions, especially at home. They can be a very tricky team. We saw them beat the Patriots last year. They can be stubborn, so that's not an easy game on October 27th for the Giants, especially a Giant team that's not that good. November 4th, Dallas comes to town to the Meadowlands, 8:15 on ESPN. That is a Monday night game. That's one of the 2 Monday night games the Giants will play. And, we'll see where this Giants team is. Now, this is a Giants team that I don't think will be appreciably better than what they were last year. I have concerns right now. We'll see how things pan out as we get closer to training camp and obviously the season, but you would have to figure if the Giants are in any kind of contention, that's a game that they have to win, or it's just one of these games where the Giants could, put a dent in the Cowboys just a little bit there on November the 4th. November 10th, Giants and Jets. I'm going to talk more about that matchup when I go over the Jets schedule, so I'll save it for then. But the Giants-Jets, November 10th, and then the Giants finally get their late bye week in Week 11, November 17th. Then the Big Blue will head to Chicago to take on the Bears. This is a very fascinating, I think, stretch run here for the Giants at the end of the year. At the Bears, November 24th, the Green Bay Packers come to town December the 1st, and then 3 of their last 4 are in division, including 2 against the Eagles. December the 9th, at Philadelphia on Monday Night Football. The Miami Dolphins come to town on the December the 15th, and there is also a quirk in that schedule as well. I'll explain in a moment for the Dolphins. December 22nd at Washington, and then December 29th home to Philadelphia. So that is the Giants' schedule. Now, as I said, we don't know how much better this Giant team is going to be from where they were last year or even the last couple of years to what they're going to be this year. We all know about the concerns about Eli Manning, the concerns about the offensive line, concerns about whether this team has enough talent to be even competitive. We all know Odell Beckham Jr. got traded, so this is not a team that you figure is going to be that good in 2019. There are some interesting games. Obviously, the Patriots game will be interesting to watch. The two Dallas games will be, as usual, be fascinating. I think a home opener against Buffalo could be very interesting. Might be the Giants' best shot at getting a win early in the season in the schedule. Certainly Buffalo and Washington at home. Those are two big opportunities right there for the Giants to pick up a couple of W's. The Jets game, of course, also fascinating. So there is the Giants' schedule. We'll see how things pan out. We'll have a better indication how they're going to look when we get close to the season. Now let's flip over to the Jets. Now, a lot of people thought, and they all jumped on this rumor from Twitter, when Odell Beckham Jr. kind of indicated in a tweet that there was a chance he was going to open the season on the road at the Meadowlands against the Jets. Of course, coming back to East Rutherford, playing in his old stomping grounds, not against the Giants, of course, against the other team in the building in the Jets, but he gave that indication. Then he wrote on Jamal Adams' Twitter, as well as Instagram, rather, saying, "See you week 1." So everybody jumped on that and thought, it's going to be Jets, it's going to be Browns, it's going to be week 1, it's going to be Monday Night Football, because it is the 100th anniversary of the NFL and also the 50th anniversary of Monday Night Football. And what was the first ever Monday Night Football game? Well, yes, it was the Jets and the Browns. Boy, was everybody wrong. You know what? Maybe Odell Beckham Jr. Just likes to play games with everybody, because the first game of the season will not be the Jets and the Browns. It'll be the Jets and the Buffalo Bills, September the 9th at the Meadowlands, 1 o'clock on a Sunday. It is, you talk about the Cowboys and the Giants basically being an automatic in week 1. Of late, it's been the Jets and the Bills as well as kind of like an automatic pilot for the NFL in week 1. This is now the third time since 2012 that the Jets and the Bills open the season against each other, and second at the Meadowlands. So, Jets-Bills to open up the season. Then, finally, there's your Browns-Jets game, folks. All you people wanted that one. There it is, week 2, September the 15th. That is indeed a Monday Night Football game, Jets and the Browns. Week 3, also intriguing for the Jets, as they have to head over to Foxborough for an early contest. That's a 1 o'clock kickoff against the New England Patriots on September the 22nd, and then they hit their bye week. So really a tough kind of start here for the Jets. You would figure the Buffalo game would be a good start, would be a good opportunity for them to get off to a 1-0 start, but you get Cleveland, who everyone thinks is going to be very good this year. New England is New England. They always give the Jets problems, so the Jets could be potentially 1-2 going into their bye week. Then coming out of that bye week, they have a really difficult stretch for 4 weeks in my mind. They go to Philadelphia October the 6th. They get the Cowboys into town in the late afternoon, October 13th. Then they get the Patriots coming into town on Monday Night Football, October the 20th, or 21st, I should say. That is a typo I see there. October the 21st. They get the Patriots in on a Monday night, so they'll see New England twice in a period of 5 weeks at the early part of the season. That's going to be huge right there for the Jets if they have any real idea or intentions of competing and being a contender this year. They have to find a way to get at least one of those games against New England. You know that. And then you see there October the 27th against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I know the Jaguars were bad last year, but they do have Nick Foles. You would think they're going to be a little bit better and improved from where they were a year ago. So that will not be an easy game. And the Jaguars gave the Jets a lot of problems last year down there in Jayville. November 3rd at Miami. That's Adam Gase's return to MIA. And a lot of people, I even thought that was going to be a chance for a primetime possibility, maybe like a Thursday night game. Not the case. Both Miami games are at 1 o'clock this year between the Jets and the Dolphins. So the Adam Gase connection just doesn't sizzle in enough for the TV executives. Then finally, there we go, November the 10th, Jets-Giants. The preseason schedule had the Jets and Giants usually play each other in week 3. It got moved to week 1 in the preseason schedule. So the thought was, well, does this mean Jets-Giants is going to be early in the year? Not the case. It's now in the middle part of the year, towards the second half of the year, with the Jets and the Giants on November the 10th. I think that's a good place for it. in November. Baseball season's over. If the Yankees are in the World Series or going through the playoffs, that will be over. So all the focus will be on Jets and Giants against one another on November the 10th. You got Sam Darnold. You got the number 3 pick in Darnold last year. You got the number 2 pick last year and Saquon Barkley going at it. And of course, it is the two teams that share a stadium in New Jersey. So it doesn't get any better than that, I guess. November the 17th at Washington against the Redskins. November the 24th, Raiders come to town. And, believe it or not, this will be the first time John Gruden coaches the Raiders at the Meadowlands against the Jets. I know that seems hard to believe, but when he was the head coach of the Raiders a long time ago, every single time the Jets and the Raiders met up, the game was played in Oakland. So this is the first time that a John Gruden-led Raider team comes to the Meadowlands to play the Jets. We'll see what the Raiders are going to be this year. Who knows what's going to happen? They are so bizarre. Of course, with Antonio Brown now there, you would think that they are going to be better than they were, but they had such a bad year last year. We'll see where they are this year. December 1st, Cincinnati, they're not very good. That's a possibility for a win for the Jets there. December the 8th against Miami. And then in weeks 15 and 16, very tough for the Jets. At Baltimore on a Thursday night against the Ravens. That's tough to have a short week to get ready for that defense for the Jets, but that's what they have to do in late December. And then December the 22nd, Pittsburgh. That right now is scheduled as a 1 o'clock game. That could get moved, of course. There's always the possibility of flex scheduling late in the year. And I know a lot of people, I've had a lot of friends say, when are the Jets going to get a Sunday night game? Well, Jets haven't been very good for a while. So potentially that could be a flex Sunday night game if the Jets are anywhere near contention. Pittsburgh will be. And not only that, but you also have the Le'Veon Bell factor, which is going to play a big role in that football game. And that's why I thought the Pittsburgh game was going to end up maybe earlier in the schedule. But no, it's in a critical juncture in the schedule, Week 16. So Le'Veon Bell may have, if the Jets are any good this year, who knows? That could be a game that could determine whether the Jets get in or not. And Le'Veon Bell will have to do it against his old team. So have that drama in as well. Right now they have Chiefs-Bears as the Sunday night game that week. That's a good matchup. I'm not going to kill it. Chiefs-Bears is a good matchup. Could be a Super Bowl preview. Who knows? But who knows? If the Jets and Steelers are pretty good or in the thick of things, I wouldn't be shocked. That's, of course, a conversation for another day. So that's when Week 16, then the season wraps up in Week 17 against Buffalo. And the last time that happened for the Jets and the Bills at Buffalo, Week 17, it wasn't that nice in 2015. Hoping for Adam Gase to have a better finish than Todd Bowles did in his first season at the helm of the Jets. So that is the schedules for the Jets and the Giants. All right, guys, so in the description below, I have a link to NFL.com. You can leaf through the Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night games. There are a number of interesting matchups. Of course, the season begins September 5th with the Bears and the Green Bay Packers on NBC. That's the kickoff game to celebrate the NFL's 100th anniversary. The Patriots will begin their defense of their championship against the Steelers at home on Sunday night, September 8th. And Rams-Saints, a rematch of the NFC Championship game, will not be a Sunday night game. That will be a Sunday afternoon game in Week 2. Instead, they have the Eagles and the Falcons together against each other Week 2 on a Sunday night. So those are a couple of the intriguing games that stand out for me. You do have Rams and Browns as a Sunday night game. So one thing I noticed in the Sunday night schedule is they took a number of risks on some games. We could see some flexing later on in the season. Would not be surprised by that at all. But that's the case almost every single year. Thanksgiving games, very interesting because the rumor was we would see the Miami Dolphins going to Dallas this year for Thanksgiving. Not the case. It will be the Buffalo Bills going into Dallas for Thanksgiving. So your Thanksgiving slate is Bears at Lions, Bills at Dolphins, and a rematch of the game they had last year, the Saints and the Falcons. So those are your holiday games. I know a lot of people want to know what those games are in advance. So that's really what we got here today, folks. I want to thank you for tuning in and listening. Remember to follow us on the social media at OpenMicNJ on Twitter, Facebook.com/OpenMicProgram, and of course, like and subscribe. Kill that like and subscribe button right here on the YouTube channel, the Sports Talk Nation, your home for everything New York, New Jersey sports. We'll talk to you next time.